What is up, everyone? Welcome to another AOS Trash Pandas with Rob and Carson. How's it going today, my friend?
It's going pretty well. Very cold, very rainy, but you know what? The dimension has given me a blessing, which is
Oh,
Down Easy Pale Ale by Hoyne Brewing Co.
is it a warm beer?
No.
Okay,
It's a cold beer,
so it
but
had
it will
nothing to
keep you
do with
warm.
what you were saying. Okay, yeah,
No.
that's true. Yeah, today it was like it's not that cold. It was like 6 degrees out Celsius, but I don't know. I went out. I took, I had to take my kid and mom out for vaccinations and different things. And I went out there and I was just like, like I just wasn't expecting it. You know what I mean? And that was the worst. Thank God for heated seats. What a freaking delight those things are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun
So
fact, my childhood car, or not my car, but basically the car that I was driven around in as a child caught fire because of heated seats, actually. Um,
what?
yeah. So we had like this big, like old Ford Excursion, an SUV. Um, Actually, I think it made the newspaper. It was in like Maple Ridge, which is where I grew up, and like the whole car like was engulfed in flames, and then it like caught the fence next to the car on fire too, and it like almost spread to the house. The fire department had to come. So, but my
Jeez.
mom was smart. She pulled my ice skates out of the back before the car like burnt down because ice skates are expensive.
That's true. You're not wrong. Whoa. That's pretty intense. That's
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
That's
Uh,
nothing to do with the rest of the show, but no, that's a fact that you
that's
know about
true.
me.
Now I just need to know. I need to know one more thing though.
Okay.
Um, you guys weren't in it. Like, why did it just spontaneous, or were you in it and then you got out and then they didn't turn off or something?
So my mom was the only one that was in it.
Oh,
And
crazy.
she felt the seat under her getting like weirdly very hot. She's like, "This is not normal." And then she kind of gets out of the car, and then like keeps like touching the seat to see if it's still getting hotter, and it gets hotter and hotter and hotter until eventually it like catches fire.
Whoa, that's wild.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, take care of those skates. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Ladivicus knows. No, yeah, ice skates for real. Like they're really expensive, and also hockey rollerblades are also very expensive. Like aluminum
Yeah.
chassis and like whatever. Yeah,
Having a kid enrolled in hockey is like horrible
it's
financially because you
terrible.
have to buy them new hockey gear every single year, and ice skates can be a lot of money. Like you can get cheap ones, but you're probably looking at like at least $500 for like
Yeah,
a really good pair of ice skates.
and that was in your time. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're more expensive now. And what's even worse, my brother was a goalie.
Oh,
So yeah,
oh, because you get bigger pads every year too. Good God,
yeah, and like
poor parents.
each individual thing is crazy expensive. Like, and like that was like every birthday, Christmas, whatever it was, he just wanted, new gear. He couldn't always afford it, but yeah, he was playing
Yeah,
AAA and yeah. Anyway, so did you see the rumor engine?
yeah. Also saw our friend Dale and
Yep. I was gonna say that myself. I wanted to look it up his exact words, and then I just ran out of time.
yeah.
But
I
but
don't remember exactly what he said either, but basically it's like the one that he
it's
says
it's Helebron.
Hagnar.
I believe it's Helebron, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Is it
That's
Hagnar?
Hagnar.
Dang it! Now I gotta look it up.
Yeah,
Now we gotta look it up.
but yeah.
There's too many chats in our gaming group.
Our
I think it's under
friend of the
AOS.
channel and frequent Scotsman Dale, he
Okay,
he told us exactly what it is. Yeah, there you go.
the symbol is spot on for Morai Heg, the crone, the goddess of fate and death. Hopefully, this means the return of Helebron. That's what I was thinking of, as a mini for Doc, as she's been talked about in lore. So subfaction for Army of Renown could be Crone Heralds, which apparently Dale is all down for. But thanks to Dale for telling us ahead of time. Oh, Carson's a little quiet. I will turn him up. Not on, mostly up.
Talking. Hello.
You're still a little quiet. You didn't adjust
Oh,
the
that's weird.
gain or anything on your end, did you? Okay.
Nope.
I'll just turn you up a little bit more. Say something.
Something. Something.
Let us know if that fixed it, everyone. Yo, Bahamut. And thanks, Dan. We appreciate you keeping us on the straight and narrow as much as is possible. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a weird one because just knowing exactly what it is
Yeah.
immediately, it's like, I mean, I guess we don't know what it's attached to.
We don't know what it's attached to. Like, it could be like the Herald of Helebron, or it could be just something for that sub-faction, or it could be actually Helebron. Like, that would... All of those things would be cool, though. It looks like... I mean, it could be like a standard for like a unit, but it also could... It's more likely to be some kind of sorceress staff, right? And the top of it kind of looks... Excuse me. Almost reminds me of Thanquil's staff in a way. You know, his... Yeah.
Yeah. Looks pretty big, though. Like, it's a pretty big staff.
It does look big, but like hopefully, you know, she's bigger in some way or another. Like maybe when she was pulled out of Slaanesh, she got the, you know, the Slaanesh treatment. She's kind of snaky. She's doing, you know, she's walking like an Egyptian with snakes for some reason. Yeah. Like that. Yeah. And then it feels weird. I was just about to say that it feels weird to just kind of know, like, we're not guessing. Like, Dale showed us this picture that it's like it is from this faction, so we not only know the army, we know the sub faction, but we don't know the model. Honestly, I think these are my favorite kinds of rumor engines, though. You know,
That's true. It gives us a lot of information about what's to come.
Exactly, but not enough to know definitively, you know. And Ludivicus says, it's your mustache thickening. It's muffling your voice day by day.
It's my natural pop filter.
It's true. Yes.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few things that have come out. So I guess I'll move on to the next thing. Battleforce boxes. I'm doing 40k first because obviously we're going from least important to most important. If the old world ones had come out, I would show them in between these two things, right? But they did not. So what's interesting is, remember how I said Ryan sent me a text of what's coming? Right? And I talked about it on the stream too. All of them were right, including like some of the models. Like he said Beast Snaga, Angron, and he said the Norn emissary for Tyranids. That's one of the main reasons I'm... Oh, and the land fortress thingy for them. And so, like, that's pretty crazy. And then he also talked about the AOS ones, which are OBR, Seraphon, Vengorian, and for Soulblight Gravelords, and Eternus. It literally said Eternus Slaves to Darkness, right? So, but he also said that there was going to be a Tomb Kings one and a Bretonia one. So that rumor or leak or whatever was 100% true. Like Eternus Slaves to Darkness, that's crazy random, right? So what does that mean? Like we know that the old world's coming out early next year. Like what does that all mean?
Maybe there will be like Battleforce boxes of some kind, but they're kind of confused with the Christmas year-end ones, and it's just like a couple months delayed, perhaps.
That's possible. Another like rumor that I heard was that Sector Imperialis, like it was coming out, like it ended up getting delayed or something, and it basically pushed back the release of the old world. I don't know if that's true or not. Sector Imperialis doesn't feel very big to me, but maybe that's just our group. I'd be interested to hear what other people think. Like, I know Rob was, not me, but another Rob, was asking in our local group if any of us are going to play Sector Imperialis. I didn't see a lot of people, you know, I already talked to him about it before, but yeah. Clearly means he's a time traveler. We should ask him for lotto numbers to fund our hobbies. That's true. I mean, if only like a lotto win would be enough to fund our hobbies, but it would help, right? It would mean selling less organs, less debt, less talking to mobsters. I'm all for it. I will talk to him and see if he has any more good information for me. Was that you? I forgot to. Oh, it was Carson. It's a good thing I forgot to shut it down. So his computer froze. No, I cannot see you moving. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but now I'm talking to you through the computer. So hopefully you can kind of see that. I'm assuming you'll be back. 1 second, everyone. You can hear me. Okay, weird. Okay, so yeah, we can't see you or hear you. I guess you're going to have to reset your computer. Sorry, everyone. Getting dings. Restarting PC. Yeah. Okay. So that's... Can I like... No, I don't want to... I won't mess with it. I won't boot him out just in case. So, what up, Keith? Thanks for joining us. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Okay, so are any of you in the chat or in the comment section? I would love to hear any of the Battleforce boxes you're interested in. That includes the 40k ones. I was talking to one of the very first Patreons, and he was saying he's mostly playing 40k right now. So I thought that was very interesting. I already have everything like for Seraphon. So I don't really think I'm going to get that one, even though like could always use more, like hunters, warriors, like these are all things that I kind of just want more of, but like I don't think I'm going to get it. I'm not into the Vangorian stuff, and like, man, they keep coming out with the same kind of thing. Like Philbats are in there for the first time, but how many do you need? You know, I like Eternus, but I'm not really into OBR, you know. I don't know, man. I thought he was just staring off deep in thought. The silent periods. Yeah. He's a deep thinker. I did, Mankiller. Thank you so much again. Nice enough to send me Mollog. Yeah, he arrived and it was really cool. I don't know where you got those green crystals from, nor how you knew I was looking for them. So Anti-Marathi, Daughters of Cain. Yeah, that is, that's what it looks like. Hey, I'm not really sure, whether or not it's going to be like, whether it's going to be her or not, or whether it's just something for her faction. I know Dale likes to play Hellebron, but I don't know how much, I don't know how much he'll, I don't know like what that'll be when it comes out. Sorry, I'm reading the chat at the same time as trying to make a cogent point. Not working out for me, as we can all see. Yeah, that they look like warpstone crystals, Robin, but like they're all over my my Zeech bases. I didn't start them, but like, yo, hello.
Hello. Also, Lodificus, I resent that.
What? I don't even. Did I miss something?
I thought
Oh.
Pilot periods out of Carson aren't that even unusual anymore. Fair, but I resent that.
Yeah. So, yeah, you need to interrupt me more because someone's got to stop me.
I just feel so bad about interrupting people. I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't know what to say to that. Yeah, just take over. Yeah. You're undecided? Night Vault box. Really? $40? Jeez. That's insane. Oh, did you? Cool. Thank you. So yeah, I'll talk to you about that later. Yeah, anyway, so But thank you again, Robin. I really appreciate that. You're not digging any of the Christmas boxes. Carson Meatman, attorney at law.
Objection.
Sustained.
I can't remember if that's the one where I get to keep talking or not. Is it?
I think that sustained means like you're right. Right? Objection,
Okay.
like
Oh, yeah,
badgering
and
the
then
witness,
overruled.
and then I say sustained, and then the person who, the defend or whatever. Like if you're the plaintiff's
Right.
attorney, then the other guy stops. I started watching Suits lately. It's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. It's not blowing my mind or anything, but I'm enjoying it. So
I think I watched a couple seasons a while ago.
did
It's
you?
not bad.
Yeah. It was it was very good. These boxes are great if you're starting the army. A lot of good units that you want, and I play 3 out of the 4 armies besides Seraphon. Wow, yeah, it's true. It's like one of those things where it's like you can also use it to shore up an army that you're, like I've gotten a lot of them, and I don't know. I'm not a good example though. LOD.
The thing I like about the Slaves to Darkness box is that it's like 100% brand new models,
Yes.
essentially.
Yeah.
So,
Same with
And-
the Seraphon one.
are there skinks in there?
There are chameleon skinks, which are hunters of Huanchi, which came out literally just before the Seraphon
Oh.
release, but they're actually, like, honestly, they're probably one of the more valuable things in there, just because, like, for a while there you can only get it through the Warcry box, and but yeah, the Agridon are awesome. The only thing that I don't think is super awesome is actually the Slan, because the Slan just came with that army box. Now, you might want 2 of them. Like, I wouldn't mind. In fact, I probably should have waited for this thing and not gotten, like 1 box of Agridons and Croxagore. But I don't know. I'll probably stop where I am. Yeah. Oh, right on. I am an idiot. Soon to. That's very kind. With his bass in his voice. um, the Morghast are the oldest models. Yeah, that's probably true out of anything there. What's in the? What's that?
The OVR stuff?
Yeah. I mean, the Morghasts are from, like, I don't even know when. Like, they've been around since before I got into AOS. So either they came in the end times, which is what I would think, or they came, early. Are they old world? Okay, that's what I thought. But I
They
came.
still hold up pretty well, though. They're nice models.
They're super nice models. I totally agree. Actually, are those that's skeletons on direwolves? Yeah. So everything in there is from the most recent release, and I'll take your word for it on the what do you call it, Eternus End Times. That's what I thought. Yeah, they totally hold up.
Yeah. The interesting thing about the Ossiarch box as well is that I know that so if anyone here follows like competitive AOS, Tom Guan was like a person to beat as far as Soulblight Gravelords goes. He just ran like tons of zombies, but he just won a tournament recently with a list that just spammed a whole bunch of Morghasts with no Catacrows whatsoever.
Whoa,
So,
cool.
It's interesting that this box actually supports that playstyle fairly well.
Yeah, because it's 2 boxes of Morghast. The only thing it doesn't
Yeah.
come with that you might want is probably the I forget his name, Crotch Goblin.
Gothazar Harvester?
That's it. Thank you.
There is one. It's in.
No, I know, but like you probably don't want one because like they FAQ'd him, so he doesn't seem.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not. Obviously, I know the least about this army out of any of them. So, yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly what the rest of the list was, but I know that he was just spamming like, pluses to wound. He didn't have Catacross because that was the entry point for magic armies to mess with Null Myriad. He was running Null Myriad.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he had Arc in the Black for sure, but yeah, it's interesting. There's and And then obviously Mortec Guard just got like a big buff in the last battle scroll, like
What
20
did?
points less.
Oh, the
Mortec Guard.
Mortar Guard. Yeah. They're super. They seem good now, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen anyone make like a really big list that's centered around them, but I'm kind of afraid for when that happens because I feel like it's got to be coming soon. Someone's gonna bring something.
I think so. I mean, there's definitely people out there who, like right away. You remember when OBR first came out, Ryan and everyone else was like, "Oh, Mortic Guard are broken," like right out the gate. And yeah, Ryan had a soul actually, and he didn't like run, 80 or more. But like, there's still got to be people out there that weren't just chasing the competitive stuff and held on to those armies, that truly like them. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Khemri, the sun god, sent his army after Nagash. He killed them all and then rose them all dead looking to mock the god. Oh, dang. Awesome lore, Keith. I did read the End Times novels, but I don't remember that. I remember, what was it? The first one was Nagash, and it's basically about Manfred resurrecting, or not Manfred, but like Arcan sort of forcing Manfred into resurrecting Nagash, but I don't remember that. Anyway, before I get further distracted, it's very easy. But by the way, are you interested in any of these boxes, Carson? No?
No.
That's fair.
I'm good for now, for sure.
You definitely have a decent amount of slaves.
I have a big backlog.
Yeah. Oh, do you? Okay. I didn't want to say that. Like, that's kind of rude, right?
Yeah, actually, speaking of backlog, I just built my what's it called? Oh, my dog's gonna get angry at me for a sec. My mob pit.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, I'm so jealous. Okay, wait, can you show us a comparison between that and the maw pot, or is it not convenient?
It's gonna take me 30 seconds.
No problem. It's fun. I mean,
don't do it. Okay.
Well, no. I just mean like I don't want to inconvenience you, basically.
No, it's fine. I can.
Okay. I'm gonna hold down the fort, people, just because I don't know about you, but I've been dying to know, right? I've been dying to know. As a Zeech Demon Prince, that's a cool idea. Okay, yeah. Check. And by the way, while Robin mentioned it, Discord is in the description below, so feel free to come join us. We're having a good time over there. Someone posted a pic in there that I'm going to show in a minute with all the prices and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really fun. Just not cool and fun anymore. I'm sorry, I'm lost the plot, Dan. Which model are you referring to there? You're avoiding looking at Christmas boxes, preparing to go back to your favorite army, and Stormcast. Cool, man. My bug looks sick. Heck yeah. Yes.
Okay. So.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and hold them up to. Actually, I'm gonna turn like maybe background blur on so it doesn't fade into the meat dimension.
Sorry.
So, here's the maw pot.
Okay. Yeah.
And here's the maw pit.
Whoa! It's way bigger than I thought. Holy moly! Yeah, like side by side like that is the best sort of view. Yep. Wow.
And then as far as like rough dimensions go, the maw pit is probably like 9 inches long, whereas the maw pot lengthwise is probably like 7 inches.
Okay.
And then the maw pit is like way wider, obviously.
It's way wider, yeah.
At the widest point, it's probably 6 inches.
Okay.
And then the widest point of the maw pot is like 3 or 4, 3.5.
Jeez.
So it's substantially bigger. Like it's probably like at least a third bigger in all dimensions, which means that like by volume it's much bigger.
Yeah, and it just looks so cool. I can't remember what you said, but you're not planning on using it, right? You're sticking with the maw pot?
It depends. I mean, so if I was going to be bringing a what's it called?
Like a competitive.
So if I was bringing a shooting army, like if I was running underguts,
Oh,
I'd run this every time because you want a
ah,
castle around it,
and then
and it doesn't hurt your gut busters whatsoever.
I see.
So it's really useful in that sense. Um,
Question:
yeah,
Is the cannon a gutbuster unit?
it is. Yeah,
Oh,
Noblars are also gut buster units. So
what? I didn't know that.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So the only issue with me running it in my current list is that I have two non-gut buster units,
Yeah,
and if you're not familiar, basically this thing um, hurts people who are between 3 and 12 inches of enemies. So
right.
not in combat, but within 12 inches of enemies that are not gut busters. Um, so basically, if I have a fire belly that's near it, and he's near combat but not in it, he's going to be getting hit every charge phase on a 3-up for D3 modals. The exact same with the Frost Lord. I'm less concerned about the Frost Lord because like he wants to be in combat all the time anyway, so it's not a big deal. But the fire belly, it might kind of suck. And then in addition to that, I don't know, like I need to try this out in a couple games to just like really see if it's super beneficial because I have a feeling that some games it's going to be really oppressive for my opponent, and some games
Yeah,
it's going to do like almost nothing. Whereas like
yeah.
at least with this, I get +1 to cast when I'm near it, and it's a once per game heal, which like isn't amazing, but it can help a lot, right?
I mean,
So
technically, it isn't once per game.
yeah, against a good opponent, it's usually going to be
Yeah,
once per game. So
I've never ever seen you use it twice in a game. Yeah,
yeah,
and I'm an idiot. So
it's very rare.
yeah, yeah. What's up, Sean? Thanks for joining us. Are you interested in any of these Battleforce boxes, Sean? Um, yeah, that thing is so cool. I can't wait till you paint it up. How many
It's a,
cannons do you have, by the way?
I own two,
You
but I've
own
painted
two.
one.
That's because you have a soul. But you should get on that.
Yeah.
You should really paint more.
Well, I'm probably going to be running a 4 cannon list at the Pacific Northwest Masters because it's a 2 list
Yes.
format. So
Have you ordered some? What's
no,
going on?
Alex is lending me some for that tournament.
Oh, cool,
So
cool, cool. So see how you feel after you play with it, maybe?
this won't be legal for neither Pacific Northwest Masters or
Dang.
what's it called
Grand Finals, Worlds.
the World Championships. Yeah, because like I think this has to be in the app, and also like it's in the Dawnbringer. It's going to be in the Dawnbringers book, I think.
Yep, which
So
is coming out next week.
nope. I think I'm pretty sure it's going to be a 2-week pre-order, like it was for this Warcry box. So
So it's like 3 weeks away from when they announce it.
yeah.
Whoa, really?
So yeah, because with this Warcry box, what they did is they did the Sunday preview,
Yeah.
and then you could pre-order the following Saturday. But it was 2 weeks after that Saturday is when it actually came out, and I'm pretty
Whoa.
sure they're going to do
Ugh.
the same thing for all of these cities.
Oh, I hope
Uh,
not.
I think that's going to be the case. And I kind of hope otherwise new cities is going to be legal for the World Championship, so it's just going to be like, surprise! Oh, new city! And everyone's going to be like, oh god, no!
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really jazzed about Belthanos, which we will talk about. I was so excited I made him my cover, my what do you call it? My screen here. Rob, you may not be an idiot, but as a Skaven player, you are the next best thing. That is called Madness, and a little from column A for me, a little from column B. I like to, you know.
I'm not stupid. I'm insane.
Yeah, I think that's what he's saying, or that's the way
Oh,
I
I
took
know.
it because the voices in my head told me so. Yeah, but the Great Horned Rat believes in me. Okay, even when I blew up all 4 cannons at the top of turn 1, the Great Horned Rat believed in me. So, yeah, that was just a lesson to think big and follow your heart. It is the Skaven way, Keith. Yes. That's I mean, I read out that statement that I forget who the person's name was. It was crossed out. Nicholas something. And anyway, that's how I feel. Planescaven is about spitting in the face of God. So we do have this week. We've got the cities book has come out. Or wait, is it coming out this Saturday? Or it's pre-ordered this Saturday. Oh, okay.
Or no, pre-order already happened, I think.
Pre-order already happened, and then it doesn't come out next week, but the week after that?
I'm pretty sure.
And it's too long. Like, it's just too long. I don't think this is a good idea, because it's like, you have to remember, like, 2 weeks from now. Oh, I see. No, you pre-order it the following week, and then it just comes in when it comes in. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. I don't know. Anyway,
shouldn't the article say when it's...
Oh, yeah, probably. Released? Well, I didn't grab... there's a lot going on this week, so grab... You can pre-order... I didn't grab the Sunday preview from, like, last week or whatever. I just grabbed this article because I thought it would be cool. Anyway, here, why don't you look that up, and I'll just talk about how awesome Talia Vendra is, the Lioness of the Parch. It's too bad.
The Sunday preview just happened.
The Sunday preview
just happened, like this past weekend.
Oh, really?
So we won't know if it's 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. I see. So all the city stuff, Belthanos' hunt, and Ionis's Dragon Box are all coming in the same lot? That is crazy. I'm crazy for feeling so lonely.
Like, again, not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that there's going to be at least one.
Oh, maybe I did grab the right thing. Oh, I did grab the right thing.
Yeah,
what do you know?
Yeah.
Ha! So, and the Black Talons? Jeez. Cheese and crackers.
So, Leviticus, normally, yes, that is the case, but they did this for the Warcry box that contained the Maw Pit and the new Gorgers.
Which is weird.
It was a 1 week preview and then 2 weeks of, like, pre-order time.
What's crazy is they've always done that, but only for, like, really big launch box kind of deals, like Horus Heresy, 40K, whatever, right? So I hope this isn't their new way of doing it. Although maybe if it helps them kind of get orders fulfilled, then maybe it's worth it. I don't know, but yeah.
That's kind of the rumor that's going around, is that, like, they realize that a lot of, like, FLGS will not get their stock in time.
Yeah.
So rather than, like, constantly having these inventory issues and, like, you know, not having people get their stuff when they want to get their stuff, they're just delaying it by a week so that it's predictable at least.
I mean, there's probably some dopey people who are like, ugh, yeah, you're a friendly local game store. Like, what idiots? Why can't they get it like the GW stores? But that's not the reality. The reality is that the GW side are the idiots. Like, I used to be in the know and know, like, a local store owner, and, you know, he would place the orders and then just not get the right thing, like, half the time. They actually purposefully, apparently, from what I understand, hire people who aren't in the hobby to work in their as reps, sales reps, and, like, fulfillment people, in the hopes that it will, like, they will get into the hobby through exposure at their job. So they're basically, that's what I heard. I mean, but I know that they specifically don't look for people who are in the hobby to work there. And I guess that's maybe because some people might exploit that, and I don't know. But, like, regardless, yeah, there's a lot of mistakes that happen. At a local store, I remember in 8th edition when Custodes came out, the store in question ordered 2 of the codexes and 2 of the data cards, and he got, I think it was like 4 or 7 of the data cards, right? And then the next week he's like, I don't need these, you know, like, that, what are you doing? And then he got more the next week, and then he got more like the following week. And he's like, I'm not ordering these things, they're garbage to me. Anyway, yeah. You have seen things on the community site before the friendly local stores, or even told about it. Yeah, it's the way they do. There's some great things that GW does. A lot of great things, frankly. But some ways that they run their business is extremely old-fashioned and, yes, kind of backwards. But putting that aside, we got Ionis. Okay, Carson, I have a very serious question for you. Is Ionis the coolest Stormcast model ever made? Go.
I like Bastion. I think
Bastion's pretty sick. But, okay. Bastion is sick, and that is that's a really solid choice. Here's my pushback, though. Bastion, while the model of like the Stormcast himself, Bastion is actually cooler than Ionis. Bastion doesn't have a dragon.
That's fair.
I
think
believe
this is the best dragon they've done as well.
Oh yeah. I believe that's what they call checkmate, Carson. No dragon, no
Well, I'm playing checkers, so too bad.
Oh no. Yeah.
Ping me.
You play meat checkers. You play it with pepperonis, and then if you skip
whole
over
hamburger patties.
whole hamburger patties. How big is your checkers board? My God,
very big.
No kidding. It's bigger than my chessboard. That's for sure.
More akin to disc golf. Actually.
You should do it with like what are they called? White Castle sliders. You know, that'd be good.
I've always wanted to go to a White Castle.
They look so good. The jokes they make though about the stomach issues afterward are not as funny though.
I haven't heard those. So.
Oh really? Yeah.
Noted.
Apparently, yes. Anyway, you have 400 points means you need to buy less SCE stuff. That's true. So congrats. And you can just buy dragons if you want to. You think he'd be a cool ally for Coalesced until he goes up by 10 points. That's true. Yes, he isn't locked into a sub-faction, which is also cool. The other cool thing is that I don't think he's going to go up, Ludivicus. I think he's going to go down. I don't think, like, as he sits right now, he's got an amazing war scroll. He's a beat stick, and he does stuff that no one else in the game does. Like actually, we'll get to that in literally just a second. But I think he might be just a little bit overpointed right now. I think, like, I mean, I would, if I were into Stormcast, he would be the first model. Or if I was going to get into Stormcast, he would be the first thing I buy. This box would be what I would buy. Because I would just do all dragons, him, and maybe, like, I don't know, like, what's Karazai. Yeah. I think he looks cooler than Krondus. Crystal Burgers. Oh, my goodness. That sounds also hard on the old colon. You know?
I'm like a good old meth burger.
Meth burger. I don't know why I didn't think of that.
Amphetamine.
Yeah. Yeah. You get a lot done when you eat our burgers.
A lot.
A lot. Your house will be
They don't actually
spotless.
have employees. They just have like hyper obsessive customers.
That come
The
in.
kitchen is just perfectly clean. Yeah.
You come in, eat a burger, and then work there for an hour, or 8,
Yep.
or 10. Yeah.
You kind of lose track. Yeah.
Oh man. That are near 400 get their sales up, then change their points. They did that for Croak, but I think you can only do that if their like War Scroll justifies it. And they did that for Thankful too, so maybe you're right. Okay, so his War Scroll, before I get further distracted by the hilarious comments in the chat. So he is 16 wounds, 9 bravery, pretty normal, 3 up save. I know that's normal, but like at 16 wounds, that's no joke, right? So then we got a 12-inch range on his shooting attack, 9 attacks, 3s and 3s, -2 rend is pretty good, 1 damage. And then he's got a special rule that goes along with this. Each time a wound caused by an attack made with the Spirit Scouring Flames is allocated to an enemy unit, that unit is soul burned. At the end of each hero phase, not your hero phase, etc., etc., each hero phase, roll a dice for each soul burned unit, each of them. If the roll is equal to or less than the number of the current battle round, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. When a player uses an ability to heal any wounds, that have been allocated to the unit. Instead of healing any wounds allocated to a soul burn unit, that unit is no longer soul burned. So that's very, very good.
Yeah. One important distinction here is that it says wounds caused by an attack is allocated. So that means that it has to get through the ward in order for this to actually apply.
That's a good point.
But yeah, this is really interesting because like you can split attacks with a shooting attack. And one thing that's important too is that when you're within 12-inch range, you can target heroes that are affected by lookouts, or they will be -1 to hit.
Yep.
But you can split like 3, 3, and 3 on like 3 small heroes if you wanted to. One of them is probably going to get through on each, and then all of a sudden there's soul burn for the rest of the game. Probably.
Totally agree. And he's moving 14 inches undamaged, so he can get in there. Also, you can deep strike him in as well. So you could just theoretically just deep strike him in and pop a dude or two, maybe. Did you notice that and what I like about this rule is you can tell that they're really thinking a lot better about the rules of the game and how all this stuff is going to interact, because they said at the end of each hero phase. So they're purposefully giving someone a chance to do heroic recovery before this happened. And I just think that's awesome. I think it's really brilliant. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then he's got 4 attacks on his Soul Breaker, which I believe is his mace, that mace thingy. 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1, 2 damage. Pretty normal. I think it's normally 5 attacks, but I guess they didn't want to make him too much of a beat stick. I don't know.
Guess what?
What's that?
That's 1 Ogre Glutton's worth of attacks.
Jeez. Shut up, Carson. Shut up.
It's exactly 1. Literally Stop 4 attacks, 3 3s, -1, 2 damage is exactly 1 regular non-champion.
Yeah, okay, fine. It's not great. Ancient Claws, though. Do they get Ancient Claw attacks, Carson? It's 5 attacks undamaged.
Actually, yes. No,
yeah, what? God dang. No wonder you're doing so well with them. 3s and 3s, -2, 2 damage. That's pretty good, right? And then you've got 3-inch attack, 3-inch range rather. I don't know why the fang. Whatever, it doesn't matter. The fangs are 3 inches, 2 attacks, 3s and 3s, -3 undamaged, 3 flat damage. So he's like he's a pretty good beat stick, right?
He can hit pretty hard.
He can spank on occasion.
All of them are on 3s and 3s, which is pretty nice too.
It is. It's very nice. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah. Draconic Horror. Enemy units. This is probably the best ability that he has, in my opinion. Enemy units cannot receive rally and inspiring presence commands while they're within 12 inches of this unit. So he's projecting a bigger than 24-inch bubble of no inspiring presence. God save you if you're Skaven, Beastmen, goblins, etc. Right? And I mean even other stuff like whatever. Anyway, and rally. So you can't rally, you can't inspiring presence. That's actually a wild ability. Like, I don't think there used to be, what's it called? The Celestant Prime. I think he used to make you -1 or -2 bravery in a bubble like this when he came down in AOS 1. And that was really felt in the game at the time. And I think this is even bigger just because rally and inspiring presence are a huge part of the game. So yeah, that's huge. And then subtract 1 from the attacks characteristic of melee weapons that target this unit to a minimum of 1. It just says, I mean, it says melee weapons, so that won't apply to shooting attacks, but still like what if they only have 2 attacks and they're just good quality attacks? Like, let's say Kurnoth Hunters with scythes. You're just like, oh dear, halved my attacks.
Or Bloodletters would be one too, where they don't have a huge amount of attacks and they're relying on just volume of attacks to get their 6s for mortal wounds.
Yep.
So all of a sudden they're doing like 1/3 less attacks against a guy like this, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I guess the Kurnoth Hunters with scythes are like an extreme example because they're just got like super high rend and whatever, you're paying for that. But Yeah, man, that's really good too. And then here, would you like to take over? My throat is.
Would you
Oh,
scroll up in the stream? Oh, you
yeah,
got it.
sure.
Yeah, you got
Sorry.
it. Yeah, so he has the Arch Relictor ability. In your hero phase, this unit can chant 2 prayers, and as Ludovicus said, I think it was Ludovicus, that he might be the first to chant priests in the game. I don't know of any others, which is kind of interesting.
Ah,
At the start of your hero phase, you must say how many prayers this unit will chant. If you say 1, when it chants that prayer, it is automatically answered with a chanting roll of 6, and no additional prayers may be chanted. If you say 2, make the chanting rolls for both prayers as normal. So that's pretty interesting, because if you have a prayer that you like need to get off,
yeah.
it's reliably always going to happen, and there's nothing your opponent can do about it. And then you have a chance for 2, as it says as well. In addition, at the start of the enemy hero phase, you can pick 1 endless spell or invocation within 12 inches of this unit and roll a dice on a 2+. That endless spell is dispelled or that invocation is banished. So that's pretty nice.
It's really cool. One thing to point out is it doesn't actually say in addition. So,
True. Yeah.
But
you just do that.
You
also.
just do that. Yeah, exactly. It is in addition in effect.
Yeah.
But it's kind of an interesting sort of, wording they've got. You always expect the in addition. It's like a meme at this point, but it does show intent. So I'm curious about that. It probably doesn't mean anything, but yeah. What do you think about this? Like,
it's a good ability. I mean,
yeah.
being able to chant 2 prayers is really big. For 2 for the cost of 1 is always great. The auto dispel is super nice. Like, sometimes you're going to be facing an opponent where you don't necessarily want to use one of your actually, it's huge because you can chant 2 prayers and on top of that attempt to banish a invocation at like a better chance than you would have with a normal priest.
Yep.
Right.
And
so you effectively get like 3 slots for doing something instead of like 1, which is what a priest would normally have.
Or you can also use it on an endless spell and then dispel another endless spell like normal. So sometimes people are relying on you having themselves having multiple endless spells out, and they're like, well, they can't dispel all of them. And it's like, well, I can get 2 of them a turn with this guy. Like, that's...
Yeah, because you could do heroic willpower, because he's not a wizard by default.
No.
And then you could, what's it called? Like, regularly try to dispel an endless spell and then do the 2-up with this, like you said. So that's pretty cool.
Right. But I thought dispelling an endless spell was limited to 1. Oh, heroic. Could you heroic willpower? But I think you can only do 1. You can only dispel 1 endless spell per turn, right? Isn't that like how it's worded? Like once per turn? But
this is his ability.
No, this guy gets a pass, so you could do 2 a turn. But I don't think you could do 3, right?
No, I see. You can do 3.
I see what you're saying now. Just to get in case you don't have a wizard.
Yeah.
I got it. My bad.
So he could take heroic willpower and dispel another one himself, I think, unless I'm mistaken about that.
I don't see why not, because he's not a wizard, and this ability doesn't tie in with that. I see what you're saying now. I'm totally on board. Yeah. I just wanted to originally I thought you were saying you could have a wizard like do heroic willpower and then he would get another attempt at binding. I was like, I don't think that works, but
yeah.
I don't want to call you out here, but yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
Oh, and Keith said the -1 attack rule is on Kronus and Karazai, so that's cool. Yeah, I guess the big star dragons. This dragon looks so freaking cool. Anyway, and then he's got Lightning Tempest. Would you mind reading that one?
Sure. Yeah, no worries. So Lightning Tempest is a prayer that has an answer value of 3 in a range of 18 inches. If answered, pick 1 enemy unit who is within range, not wholly within. That unit is struck by lightning and suffers D3 mortal wounds. Then roll a dice on a 1 to 2. The Tempest clears and the sequence ends on a 3+. Pick 1 other enemy unit within 3 inches of the last unit that was struck by lightning. That unit is struck by lightning and suffers D3 mortal wounds. Keep rolling dice in this way until the Tempest clears or there are no other enemy units within 3 inches of the last unit to be struck by lightning. And a unit cannot be affected by this prayer more than once per hero phase. So basically, it kind of like arcs through the opponent's lines if they have a bunch of stuff within 3 inches of each other.
Yep.
Assuming you keep rolling 3-ups. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
18 inches is a pretty far range.
It sure
Which is,
is on a
yeah.
prayer. Yeah.
Yeah, so this would be really scary to go into a castle army. Granted, like 3-ups can be unreliable for sure. Like, the nice thing is that you immediately get D3 on the first thing. So it's like, at least it's a prayer to just do D3 mortal wounds, which is
Yep.
kind of nice.
Yep.
So it's just like a better arcane bolt, essentially, with the chances of being like super good if it keeps arcing.
Yeah, this is interesting. I have a question. So it says on a 1 to 2, the Tempest clears and the sequence ends, right? And it's also on a value of 3. Actually, okay, never mind. I think I have my answer. I was contemplating in my head, but it's an answer of 3. So if you're standing near terrain that affects it or anything else that gives them +1, it goes off on a 2. But that wouldn't affect the sequence afterward because it's not tied into the priest roll yet. But I just wanted to clear it up in my head. But
yeah, that'd be crazy if it was just like 2 up, 2 up, 2 up, 2 like
right? Yeah.
That would be horrifying.
Oh, excuse me. What do you think about this guy? Do you do you think he's worth 400 points?
He's very good. I think he's really interesting. He's a buff piece. He hits fairly hard. He's pretty tough, but one of the things that is kind of unfortunate about Stormcast all the time is they don't have any wards, any protections against mortals. So like I see this guy, and if he's placed in front of me, I'm just going to charge him to death with mortal wounds there.
Right.
So that's kind of unfortunate. Also against like any shooting army, I fear for him when New Cities comes out because he's going to be a prime target to just be shot off the table immediately.
Yeah.
So he definitely has some weaknesses. So I don't think he's worth his 400 point price tag.
Right now.
I think that maybe if he was more like 350 or like 320 even.
320
is maybe a little cheap.
Yeah.
But
I think 350, I like at that point, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can you can best day ever him.
Can.
And
Keith is right. He can chant bless on himself for a 6+ ward, but yeah, it's okay. Like it's not.
Also,
he has to spend one of his prayers to do that, right?
Oh, and is he?
He's not a knight or a lord. So that's one important thing to note about the Stormcast prayer scriptures.
Okay.
So.
But he's not faction locked, so he could be. He could have the 6-up ward near objectives as well, presumably in Hammers of Sigmar. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think so. That's true.
He's got like a different paint scheme, so I'm not sure that he is actually in Hammers in the lore or whatever, but I'm less concerned about that than I am about how the rules will be.
Yeah, I know some people were saying that his War Scroll will have to be FAQ'd because it doesn't include like Lord or Knight, and I can't remember exactly how that interaction works, but people were saying that either he would be able to chant the Stormcast prayers with 0 inches or technically unlimited distance.
What?
I don't know. Like I haven't looked enough into it to really know, but I know that something wonky is there that they'll have to fix.
Okay,
so.
That's good to know. Hopefully, I'm assuming, like, I think most of the time you know how it's going to be ruled, right? It's going to be ruled so that whatever BS that someone, looked up on a chart, it's not going to work. You know what I mean? Like they want people to use their rules and they want things to be fair. So yeah, it'll probably be that. Okay. So now we've got my boy, Belthanos. Holy crap. I mean, I already talked about how freaking awesome this model is, right? But we got to look at his War Scroll. Now, right from the get-go, he is 340 points, so he is definitely a good amount less than ya boy, like 20% less or something like that, right? So, what do you get? From the get-go, you get 12-inch move, 14 wounds, 3-up save, 9 bravery. Similar. He has 2 weapons, so no shooting attack here. I can't zoom in like the other one. Great. 2-inch range, 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, -3 rend, 3 flat damage. So that's very good. That's just like he's just a little bit more beat sticky than his buddy.
Actually, it's 2s and 3s undamaged.
2s and 3s undamaged. What did I say? Did I say 3s?
3s and 3s.
Yes,
I
right.
think.
Yes, you're probably right. He starts at 2s, then goes to 3s, and then on 11 plus wounds, he's on 4s to hit, which is a little rough, but that's only the last like 3 wounds or so, right? 3 or 4 wounds, I guess. So, and then he's got razor-like mandibles and chitinous legs, 2-inch range, undamaged, 4 attacks. What is it?
Yep.
Oh yeah, okay. 4 attacks.
So what's weird about the razor-like mandibles and chitinous legs is that
It's
both
2
the
values.
attacks and the damage are the same. They're the same value, like as it brackets, but it does bracket. So it goes from 4 to 2 as he loses health, which is pretty bad actually.
Yeah, it's pretty significant, isn't it?
He brackets pretty hard for sure.
He does. 4s to hit, which is also rough. Always 4s to hit. 3s to wound, -2, and then depending on how much damage he's taken. So then he's got some abilities. Nature Etheric. In your hero phase, you can pick 1 terrain feature within 6 inches of this unit and roll a dice. On a 3-up, pick 1 scenery rule from the Mystic Terrain table, core rules, to apply to that terrain feature for the rest of the battle. If that terrain feature already has a scenery rule from the Mysterious Terrain table, that rule is replaced by the one you pick. That terrain feature is also considered to be an overgrown terrain feature. So you get another overgrown terrain, which is actually probably the biggest deal to me, I think. Like, I don't know, like, even if you're picking like whichever one you like best, like the +1 to your casting or
something.
or whatever, that's not as big a deal as just the overgrown terrain feature is, I think, in my opinion. He also has Mantle of Leaves, which is a 5-up ward, which is really good on a 3-up save, 14 wound hero with 9 bravery because he can heal.
Except for the mount trait, he's almost as tough as a Stonehorn, which is kind of nuts.
Right? Yeah.
Stonehorn's 15 wounds on a 3-up with a 5-up ward, and the only thing that makes him tougher is he's -1 to wound, which is big, but only one Stonehorn can get that. So he's getting pretty close.
He's pretty close, and he is significantly cheaper than a Stonehorn. Although it doesn't hit as hard, I guess, so...
No, yeah.
But he also does buff the units around him. So Kurnothi Warhorn, friendly Sylvaneth units, by the way, not Kurnoth, not just bug units, wholly within range of this ability, which starts at 18 inches. So that's a 36-inch... Actually, it's bigger than a 36-inch bubble because his base is, I think, 120 oval. But anyway... friendly Sylvaneth units wholly within range of this ability can attempt to charge even if they ran. So run and charge, okay, like amazing, especially if you take him in his, or actually I guess we don't know. Do we know? Did they release his Army of Renown? Like there's gonna be an Army of Renown,
but not all of them, I think.
Oh, okay. Anyway, and then he also has a command ability. You can use his command ability at the start of your movement phase. The unit that receives the command ability must be a friendly Sylvaneth unit. So it's all Sylvaneth. That unit can retreat and still charge later in the turn. So you can give things retreat and charge, and everything within range just gets run and charge. I'm glad it's that way and not the other way around too. Like it would be way worse if it was like pick one unit they can run and charge and everything can retreat and charge. I mean, arguably, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I think this is better though. Getting across the board.
Scroll down real quick and check the
Certainly.
Keywords. Leviticus brought up an interesting point.
Sylvaneth, Free Spirits, Hero, Monster, Kurnoth Hunters, Belthanos order.
He is marked as Kurnoth Hunters?
He is marked as Kurnoth Hunters.
So Alariel can summon him. As Leviticus said. So rules is written right now. Alariel is capable of summoning Belthanos?
What?
That's gotta be a mistake.
That's gotta be.
That's insane.
Here, I have one piece of pushback, and now I'm gonna get accused of looking things up on a chart. But the one pushback I have is that Alariel is objectively terrible, And so maybe they're just like, we need to give her something. And instead of just
Yeah.
rewriting everything, which is way too much work, maybe we'll throw her a bone and let this happen. I don't think so, to be honest. I think that's a mistake. It's similar probably to the Flesh Eater Court's mistake, but I kind of hope it isn't. I just never see Ilariel on the table, and I think it would be cool if we start to see her more.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess it would be. I don't know if that would be a good list still. Like you said, Ilariel's like not great. So
yeah, she doesn't have a ward, and she's like, I forget how many points. Like, is it 800 points? I can't remember. I have a bunch of Sylvaneth models. I've always wanted to collect them. James helped me do it, and now I'm finally doing it. And yes. But anyway, you know what's cool about this guy though? What's cool about both of them is that I'm not seeing anything where I feel like I need to take them in an army of renown. Like, I'm feeling like I could just slot him in, and he just makes my mobile army more mobile. Like, I think Eric was saying, like, basically you can deduct 40 points from his war scroll in a way, just by saying, like, you don't need to take what's it called, the hive anymore. You could just take him. Yeah,
this guy scares the crap out of me, just to be honest. Like he's extremely fast, and he makes other Sylvaneth units extremely fast. And what's kind of confusing is that Sylvaneth has never had a problem reaching people already. So it's like now they can like strike and fade you, so they can like pop out of a tree and like come and hit you. Previously they could do that, and they can still do that, but now they can also have the opportunity of just like literally sprinting up the board at you, because like, what are the fast like mounted units?
The bug riders. Like, everything in the army is kind of slow. The main thing that they can do is pop out of the trees, but he doesn't buff that, right?
Yeah, but the Spite Rider Lancers are 14-inch move, so all of a sudden it's 14 plus a run and a charge, which is kind of crazy.
That's true. I was looking at them today because he comes with bug riders and he comes with Kurnoth Hunters, so presumably his Army of Renown is going to have something to do with both of those things, or they just put it in there because it's funny. So I was looking at both the Lancers, the ones that are called just Lancers or something. They're not that scary. Like, they have like 13 attacks, 3s and 3s, I think, but it's -2 rend, but only 1 damage, and you don't get anything on the charge. And the bugs are nothing to write home about at all. And then the other guys are less attacks. I think it's 3 attacks each, so it's like 9 or 10 attacks. I guess 10 with a champion. But they're 4s and 3s, -2 damage. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I think like a combination though of Kurnoth Hunters and them will be cool. I mean, I'm definitely gonna get this guy, and because like it's my favorite thing in the army. Like, he's the coolest model I think they've ever made for Sylvaneth, in my opinion, anyway. And the Kurnoth Hunters are my favorite unit in there. The only thing that I like on the same level at all is the Warsong Revenant, but the Warsong Revenant's like one art model. Anyway, he just interacts with all my favorite models: the bugs, the Kurnoth Hunters, and himself. So yeah, I'm going to try and make his Army of Renown work, even if it's not great. So yeah, but also he hits like a truck. Like, he can also run and charge, so he could be moving 18 inches and still charge, and he hits like a truck unwounded. And then he can also strike and fade, and he's out of there. So yeah, I think he's awesome. I think he's worth his 340 points for sure. And I'm just excited because the last Dawnbringer's book felt like a lot of the things were like you needed, if you didn't take the Army of Renown, like Trug, for example, like if you don't take him in the Army of Renown, until they significantly lower his points, I don't see taking him myself, yeah. But what did you think?
Well, I need to change my pants.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, he's definitely scary. I think this is definitely a good Dawnbringer's book. considering what's in it. Like, I'm excited for other people for this book, whereas, like you said with Trug before, I was kind of like, like he's a cool model, but doesn't seem amazing with like outside of the Army Renown, and the Army Renown isn't good, so it's just unfortunate. But both of these characters have like really good war scrolls.
They do.
So it's kind of in that like perfect like Goldilocks zone, like where they can just kind of adjust the points, and that's all they really need to do. They don't need to really play with the war scrolls at all.
Totally agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, I missed some of this chat. When you look at her as a sub 500 point, she seems a lot better. Yeah, she doesn't have a little warlord. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember how many points Alariel is, but yeah, I mean, I guess if she's 800 points,
820, I think.
820. So yeah, then you'd be right, exactly, Ludivicus. Then, and assuming that she doesn't get sniped at the top of turn 1, by the way, then if you summon Belthanos, then her being sub 500 points does make her a lot more attractive. I'm not sure that I'm still not sure whether I would take her or not. Like, there's a lot of stuff out there that can drop Alariel turn 1. No ward. You know what I mean? If you don't drop her, that's a problem, because she can basically fully heal in her turn. But yeah, I'm super excited. I think the model is basically perfect. By the way, the base size is 150 by 95. So I think that's one bigger than the Tree Lord size. Oh wait, 150. Is that the Knight base? Yeah, that's the Knight base. Or no, that's 170, right? Is this a new base size? Because
say it was again.
It's 150 by 95.
150 by 95?
Yeah, I mean that's what.
It's huge.
Yeah, that's
big.
bigger
than the Stonehorn.
Right? Yeah, because the Stonehorns are on 120 ovals, right?
Yeah, 120 ovals. Yeah.
So, but I thought the Knight base was 170. I think this might be a new base size, because I don't remember 150.
Huge. I didn't think he was that big, but I guess if he's that big, he's gonna basically be like a tree lord on a beetle.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, dope. Oh, that's cool. Oh man, I
thought he was gonna be like the size of the Spite Revenant or whatever.
Oh, I didn't think that. I thought he was gonna be like a little bigger than a Kurnoth Hunter. You know, but
right.
Ooh, Dowgie. Yeah, that thing is super cool. I'm looking forward to like even just reading his lore and stuff like that. That's gonna be in the Dawnbringer book. I don't know. Do you get the Dawnbringer books? Yeah, me neither. It's hard to justify it, right? Like.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe if I was really into the lore, I could see me doing that.
Yeah.
Because I know they're packed with a lot of that stuff, but
they are. Yep.
All of those rules get released independent of those books. So.
Yeah. I mean, not the Army of Renown, but.
Sure.
But like they're out there, like what for one page, like you're just not going to do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Forbidden Realms or whatever it was called last time before we got a new edition. The lore was crazier. Like people die and stuff, and it's like this really epic battle, and we got brand new giant, god characters like Kragnos and stuff. So yeah, I'm not sure. Arcane terrain on a stick? Yeah, that's true. Oh, I just noticed that it doesn't say once per game for his nature etheric.
Yeah, you can just keep doing it.
You can just keep doing it?
Yeah, it's only in your hero phase, so...
I know, but that's amazing. Like that makes it way better, because you can... One second. If that terrain feature already has this... The terrain feature is also considered for you to be an overgrown terrain feature. So you also can start adding overgrown terrain features all around the board. That's really good. That's a great catch. Oh man. Um, wow. Okay. So then the last thing that I really wanted to talk about was someone posted in the on the Saga of Dice Discord the prices for a lot of this stuff. Some of it's like a little more than I would have thought, and some of it's a little less. Well, I guess maybe we'll. Did you see this, by the way? No. Okay, so the battle tome is 65 Canadian. It's the normal price now, the new normal crappy expensive price. The Long Hunt, which is the Dawnbringer book itself, I believe, is $60. So it's a little bit cheaper than the normal price for a battle tome. Not much though, like $5. Like okay, right? And then it's hard to read this, but Fusel Major on Ogre Warhulk. I think that's the guy in his like tower, right?
Yeah, and like the sniper's nest on top.
Yeah,
of the
it's really cool. He is 65, so that model might be a little bit bigger than we would have thought. Although that's not true. I mean,
yeah, it's
like
a special character. Like they usually charge quite a bit for them.
Yeah, the Starseer was like the same price. So, and then let's see, the Fusiliers are
Marshal.
70. Yep, and the Marshal is 70. And the Venestra, which is going to be very popular, so get your pre-orders in as soon as possible. She's going to be 85, which is more than I would have thought, but she's also a named character, so there's that.
Zenestra?
Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like Venestra on here.
I think it's spelled wrong.
Oh, right. You're right. Yeah. I just assumed it was something because like it's a little fuzzy, even on the original one. Yeah, Zenestra. Maybe that's the French. I don't know. I don't know. Cities of Sigmar Freegull Cavaliers are 80. Steel Helms 65. Great Cannon 65. That's not bad. Talia is it looks like 180. So that's kind of par for the course. That's the same price as like Gobsprack, for example. And then Free Guild Command Corp, 65. Black Talons, that's the new like Stormcast Black Library thing. They're $90. They're all like seem bigger, like they're not on 32s or anything, but that ain't cheap. And then Cryptborn's Stormwing, which is Ionis's like box set that he comes with, is going to be 200 Canadian, 170 American. Sorry, I forgot to say some of the American prices. The Sylvaneth Blades of Belthanos, number one on my list, is going to be 190 or 160 American. And then there's the paperbacks going on and stuff like that. Is there anything else there that anyone cares about? I think it's just a bunch of books. So, yeah. You know, they're coming out. But, yeah, I just thought you guys might be interested. Yeah. Squinting Ionis, 200 Canadian, so that's like 300 US or 300 Australian dollars. Yeah, that's pretty crazy, man.
Well, if Belvanos is going to be on that big of a base and he's coming with some other stuff, 190 probably isn't terrible.
Yeah,
I'd
I agree.
They're probably going to be charging quite a bit for him, like standalone.
Yeah, he's a big boy, right? And I mean, it's the same for Cryptborn. Like, I bet you Cryptborn. So they're both named characters only, and I don't know. Every time they do this, it baffles me a little bit. As I say every time, it's like, why not just add a couple extra pieces and make it so you can have a Kurnoth Lord on Dragonfly thing, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, fiscally, I don't get it. But whatever. I mean, it's also kind of cool to have some really badass characters. Like Thanquil was, you know, he's just Thanquil, right? So it doesn't, you know, I get it. But anyway, yeah, he's probably going to be pretty expensive. Like when he comes out, I'm guessing he's going to be 140. That's just like in Canadian dollars. And Cryptborn's going to be more for sure, right? Because he looks big. So maybe similar to like Karazai and Krondis. I don't know how much
possibly.
Yeah. You're expecting around 260, overly dramatic. I mean, I could believe you. Like, you're probably right in terms of the New Zealand dollars one. One box Kurnoth has box flies. I don't understand. I think they do come with like little like dragonfly things and stuff. Oh, what's in the bug box? It's Belthanos himself. It's a box of Kurnoth hunters, and it's a box of the bugs. See my background? This is basically what's in here. Can you see? That's it. And then Ionis Cryptborn comes with just a box of the Stormdrake Guard. So
2 of them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's one box of the dragons.
Which is enough to build 2?
2 dragons. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I thought you were saying there's 2 boxes of dragons, and I'm like, I don't think so. Yeah. No. Those things are expensive. Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm super jazzed. I'm working on sharks right now, but I don't know for how long. Yeah. I just love that guy so much. Do not want too much extra with him. Yeah, that's true. I mean, because like, I don't know how necessary or how hard they're going to be kind of pushing the armies of renown, but I think they both work outside of them, and I'm really excited for that. You don't feel like you're pushed into it. So, how much Canadian was Trug's box? That is a great question. I think it was 190. Let me find out for you.
Leviticus says 180 Canadian.
180 Canadian? Wow. Huh. I believe Ludivicus. He is wise. And he is good at Google. Yeah. The Trug was let's see, he was himself and then 2 boxes of trolls. So yeah, it's kind of all in the eye of the beholder though, right? Like,
at the end of the day, if you need everything in the box, then it's going to be a good deal as opposed to buying it separately. But if you don't, then probably not worth it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for me too, it's like it's not just need, it's like also, do you like everything in the box? And for Belthanos, yes, they're everything I like. So I don't have any bugs, so even better. $250 US. Wow. Probably Australian dollars. I keep saying that.
Otherwise known as dollary dues.
Yes. Yeah. I also say that about Canadian dollars, though. So, and we also call those monopoly money. Fun fact, because they are colorful.
It's about 180 loonies there.
Yeah. Or 92 knees, if you will.
Depends how high you can count.
Oh man. Yeah, so not too much else has gone on. There were some stats, but they were kind of like they weren't covering that much time. There weren't that many tournaments in there, so.
You mean like Warhammer stats?
Yeah. After, right?
It's tough to know like what. Also, sorry if the background noise is a lot. There's nothing. Okay, good. It's kind of tough to know whether or not like they're super accurate because KO has obviously spiked up quite a bit with the Army of Renown being kind of crazy. I hope there's going to be a FAQ of some kind on that, but to be honest, it's like kind of just fundamentally insane. So I don't know how they're going to deal with that.
Right.
But yeah, like some stuff wasn't included because there just wasn't enough information. Like Daughters of Cain wasn't even on there, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe they were really low or something.
Daughters, was it that one or was it the time before where they were super low? There was like 5 games or 5 whatever tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
Like worldwide, that's insane. That's like just basically no data. You might as well not even include it. Yeah.
Well, like most of the tournaments tend to happen kind of summertime. So
Right.
the year is definitely winding down. Like we've got the World Championships coming.
Right.
Most people probably aren't going to be doing anything until like LVO. You might have a couple events here and there, but I would expect that the stats are a little less reliable at this time.
Yeah, that seems. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, take it all with a grain of salt. Did they fix the KO Army of Renown? Because from what you heard, the heroes lose leader because they become battle line. From what you heard, I did not see that. I haven't been following the KO situation because it was one of those things like I basically just what Carson just said was like I was just like assuming like oh they're gonna take care of it, like if it's out of whack or whatever someone will figure it out, but it's not one of my armies, so not my job, not my prob. But yeah, I definitely keep me updated if you guys know in the chat here or in the comment section later on. I like to learn these things. It's not like I'm willfully ignorant. It's just there's only so many hours in the day, so I try to investigate what pertains to me. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what the problem too is like I don't know what the problem is with the Army of Renown. So like
so the fundamental problem is that like so Grunstock Thunderers and Grunstock Gunhaulers both become battle line.
Okay.
And that which is fine. And then Gunhaulers have a new ability where basically they can at the start of their move pick up a unit of Thunderers or I think anything, finish their move, and then drop them off. So the Thunderers can't stay in the boat, but they can like move along with it essentially.
Wow.
Gunhaulers, I think they either move 10 or 12 inches, but they have a once per game, they do an extra 6 inches. So basically they can just go like zoop all the way across the board with a unit of Thunderers or something.
Whoa. And then you start blasting with freaking Thunderers.
That's not the worst part. The worst part is that you...
the stream is over!
every time you shoot with something,
okay,
on a 4+, it gets to shoot a second time at -1 to hit. So... it's like a very swingy non-play experience essentially.
That's crazy.
So like if your opponent just rolls 4-ups, like you're done. Like you can't really do anything about that because like Thunderer shooting a second time is insane. Even if it's at -1 to hit, it's a ton of damage.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of auto hit stuff, right?
Whoa. Well, and like wouldn't they be +1 to hit? If like wouldn't they keep their +1 to hit as well theoretically?
Yeah, they all unattacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So, but that's the thing is that like, yes, they can come across the board at you, shoot you once, which is already painful.
Yeah.
But then if they don't roll their 4-up, they're just sitting there with their pants down, essentially. Like it's not a good time. But if they do roll their 4-up, then it's like horrifying for you. But if they have multiple units coming at you doing that, then it's pretty scary.
Yeah, exactly. Like if they just have enough units, then just through the law of probability, they'll probably get a bunch of more shots.
They also get that rule when they unleash hell. So you can when you unleash hell, you can roll a 4-up and shoot unleash hell again. Which is
Who writes
which makes
these
it so
books?
that like charging them is not a great option.
What? And you compare that with like Trug? You know what I mean? Or any of like a dozen other armies of renown in the book? That's like like one of the strongest things I've ever heard in this like current.
It's busted. It's like
that's busted.
I sincerely hope that they like maybe if they limited it to be like one unit, like you could do this maximum once per shooting phase or something.
Yeah.
So that like sure even then it's like really scary because you have a unit of like 15 Thunderers or something that just gets like dragged across the battlefield and then shoots twice into you. It's still horrifying.
No kidding.
But,
you know that old thing that people used to talk about, how it's like sometimes some of the developers of the game have like a favorite army. Like it was always like Eldar, you know what I mean, was one of the main in 40k or elves in general in the old world and stuff like that. I've always kind of said, I don't know, you know, I've been kind of skeptical, but like, man, it's like someone likes KO, like, and someone was like, no, this will be fine. You know, trust me, I got this. Yeah.
I'm kind of a firm believer that the armies of renown probably shouldn't be legal for matched play. Like, they see, and I'm not even doing that like as a knee-jerk reaction to KO. It's more so like remember a while back where one of the biggest complaints about 40K is that you have to do a ton of bookkeeping. You have to have like
Yeah, yeah.
your book. You have to have all these supplements. You have to have like this book that you bought. Now all of a sudden it's kind of the same thing. If you're doing armies right now, and it's like, well, you got to have your battle tome. You have to have all your FAQs. You have to make sure your battle scrolls are like up to date. You have to have your Dawnbringer book to make sure you have the army of renown, and then any FAQs that are applied to that to make sure you're playing it right. So like the more things you introduce,
Right.
the more likely there is to be like an error in
That's
a
true,
competition of some
but then
kind.
it's at the same time it's like, okay, well then you might as well outlaw Trug and like a bunch of other things that are like totally fine. You know what I mean?
Well, the difference is that you can look at Trug's War Scroll in the app.
No, I
easily.
know, but like what I'm saying though is Trug is not good outside of his army of renown. Like he's so bad that it's
Yeah,
and like
that's a separate problem.
but he's also not good in his army of renown. I know what you're saying. Like I don't disagree. I mean, with Wahapedia we have the technology. You know what I mean? But at some point that's probably going to be gone. Is one problem. Yeah. I mean, I definitely wouldn't. Will like. There's no way GW is going to make it illegal in matched play. That's never going to happen, right? I think it's kind of up to the tournaments to kind of just say, how they want to go about it, right? Like, because
Yeah.
like if like a lot of the way it goes too when people are playing pickup games, and I don't play a lot of pickup games anymore, but it's like, hey, you want to play a game? Yeah. How many points? Like basically everyone assumes we're playing match play. So if anyone made a rule where it's like, yeah, you can't use your Trug army, you know what I mean, at your local game store, I'd be like, okay, then I'll see you later. Like, I want to use my Trug, you know what I mean? I painted him up and I want to play with him. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's fair.
it's difficult though, and like we now, to your point, we not only have, like, if someone rolled up to your point to the table at a tournament and was like, yeah, my KO army does this, and this, I'd be like, okay, like, we're not allowed to play with homebrewed rules. You should know that. You know what I mean? And then, you look it up later and you're like, that's real? That's crazy. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, okay, so I don't disagree with what you're saying, but what do you think about the idea like tournaments aren't the same as whatever,
Regular
like,
match play.
you know what I
I'd
mean?
agree with that.
Like
But
you're
some
kind
people
of
can.
yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, you're kind of responsible for kind of knowing what's going on in the game if you're going to play in a tournament.
Yeah, like I'm not. I wouldn't say that like. So if a tournament rules that these things are allowed, like I wouldn't shame someone for bringing it up, and I wouldn't say like they're wrong necessarily. Like it's the tournament organizer's choice, and
Yeah.
that's kind of just law. But were I to organize a tournament, I probably wouldn't allow them, just because I don't know, like I don't know, I'm conflicted, but it just seems odd that like these things are just popping up, that kind of can have the propensity to break the game, and I think KO is like especially a tough one because like shooting in general is already kind of like dicey in Age of Sigmar, like it can be pretty unenjoyable for your opponent.
You can.
And to release something like this for a shooting specific army that makes them even shootier is kind of like, like you probably shouldn't have done that. Like,
It's a
I
bad
understand
luck.
armies are renowned to be like, this is a fun thing that you can do. It's thematic, and like maybe it's pretty good, but it's not like amazing.
Right.
But like enhance, probably the least enjoyable part of the game was probably a mistake on their part. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true, you know. It's like one of those things, it's like did some bad rules writing ruin it for everyone, you know? Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking, cuz like KO were doing good already. Now I know they wrote these books ages ago, but still yeah. I don't know that there is a right answer, you know?
Yeah, like it's just unfortunate that it's like somebody farted in the room. You're like, well, the natural thing that happens, but I didn't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you ruined this whole environment for everyone. Well done. And why'd you have to have that tuna salad for lunch?
Exactly.
Not cool.
I saw you eating those garlic cloves. You bastard. I mean, you jerk.
Bastard's fine. Yeah. Oh man.
I might also be overreacting. Like, I have to fully admit I've never actually played against this army or now, but just looking that on paper is like terrifying.
We have nice friends here, Carson. So.
Yeah. Although I might try and force one of our nice friends to play it against me just to like see what it actually is like.
Alex?
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
which will go against every like vein and every nerve in his body will be like resisting that because he has to play something that is terrible all the time. But I'm gonna try and make him do that.
I think he'll do it as long as it's not. He'll do it for special occasions. Like he brought Gutbusters pre all the nerfs. He brought 4 cannons and a bunch of Noblars for a game on the channel against my terrible cruel voice at the time. So you can get him to do it. It's for the greater good, Carson. It's so you can practice, right? Do I want the IG leaf blower? Because this is how you get the IG leaf blower. IG Imperial Guard? That's all I can think of for IG. Collecting KO for years before I thought about this playing. Yeah. And about the rules. Yeah, it's like a lot of people just play with their models, and like a lot of people don't know what the meta even is. You've been getting a lot greater success out of your Trug's Trog herd than expected on paper. Hey, that's freaking awesome. I mean, that's fantastic, Ludivicus. And I love Trug is such a freaking awesome model, and the trolls are some of the coolest Gloomspike gets models out there in an army that's one of the coolest armies they've ever made. I still think he's overpriced, but like, I mean, there was a guy who won a tournament with a Screaming Bell before it got its rules changed. I think he had like 2 Screaming Bells before they got the rules change or the points drop. So like, you know what I mean? Like a good player can make lemons out of lemonade. So it sounds like you're just, better. I mean, I'm not saying that like he's unwinnable or anything like that. There's just some inherent weaknesses in him. And for 340 points, I just don't think he's worth it to not be able to take a wizard and all these other things. Right. Is the rest of this game. Sean makes a good point. Either allow them or you don't. And are they balanced? No, but neither is the rest of this game. Yeah, and it never will be.
I want to express that like I don't like these things, but I don't think that they shouldn't be allowed necessarily, or I'm conflicted about that at the very least.
Yeah.
Whether they should be allowed or not. Because it's like obviously every player is going to have matchups that are bad for them and they don't like them.
Right.
But it would be selfish for me to be like, no, they're not allowed kind of thing. But
it's I think we have to give Games Workshop the benefit of the doubt that they will correct them before too long. Hopefully they don't do anything that's actually stupid. Like I can see anyone being like, well, it's a 4-up. It's so unreliable. Like, and they just kind of, what's the word in English where you just kind of like shoo that away under that, under that thinking. But it's another thing if they allow it in tournaments before they've had a chance to kind of react to it and react to, and like maybe we are overreacting to it. I don't know. Like I know KO got nerfed, so I don't know.
I guess one last thought that I have is that anytime a new battle tome is released, the common etiquette for a tournament player pack is that battle tome has to have had an FAQ before it's allowed to be played in tournaments.
Yep.
So I think that the one thing that's weird about Armies of Renown is that it's not a battle tome; it's technically a sub-faction.
Yep.
With its own like self-contained rules. So we don't actually know like what the regular release schedule is for FAQs if they're ever going to get one at all. And I think that's where the confusion's coming from, because I think that if a similar rule were implemented in all tournaments, where it's like armies of renown are allowed if they have an FAQ applied to them, but so far that hasn't happened. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
And there's been ample time for that to be the case.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea, but only maybe once we know whether or not GW is going to do it, and if there is no like kind of word from them, for lack of a better term, then it comes down to the TO. Like if I were hosting a tournament, when does this book come out? Let's say it comes out like, when does it come out again?
A couple weeks from now.
A couple weeks from now. So like let's say I was hosting a tournament at the end of November, for example, and there was no FAQ, which there won't be, right? And we didn't know. I would just be like, okay, well, the KO one isn't allowed because it seems broken to me, and we don't know if or when we're going to get an FAQ on it. And I'm the TO, and you know what I mean? Like I'm not a TO, but speaking as someone who is not a TO, I think we would all look at that TO and go, okay, like that's reasonable. You know, you're the TO, it's your call. Like, yeah, it's always been that way.
If the FAQ was released like the day before list submissions were due, then you would honor that and they would be allowed, right?
Indeed.
I think that makes the most sense.
Right? You know, yeah, I mean, that's why you need a good TO. Thank your TO. Tip your TO. You know? Like, tell them, you know, you could get a better haircut if you go to Larry's or something like that. Give them a nice tip. Given army rules that get a reaction like that kind of sucks for the fans of the army. I completely agree. I felt it with LRL, like, how dare you like the models and want to play an army with rules like that? Yeah, man. I've certainly had those armies. I have mostly been like lucky or unlucky, depending on your viewpoint, where I haven't had armies that had super broken rules so far. The closest I had was Ina Deepkin in AOS 1, but they came out after Daughters of Cain, which were one of the most broken armies in the history of Age of Sigmar at the time. So it was like, yeah, these things are quite powerful, but oh my god, Daughters, like, mother of God, they're killier than them, they're faster than them, they're more survivable than them, they got more bodies and all sorts of stuff, you know, battle shock immunity. And then Skaven, like, for a hot minute when it first came out, was like, oh my god, and then they just nerfed it, and it was fine. So yeah, I can't really think. Oh, Gloomspite Gets, actually, yeah, so that's actually the best example of me having something that was pretty broken, and it did feel bad, because I was just like, I just want to play with these things. I was playing with them before they had their new book, and when they were like the worst army in the game, and now, you know, I just felt like I couldn't play it, and I just kind of stopped painting them because it felt bad to play against people. So
yeah, and like I'm definitely sympathetic to the players of the armies that this is happening to.
Yeah.
And like Cities of Sigmar is another one too, where everyone's like, oh, that book's gonna be crazy, and there are people who like love cities.
Yep.
They really want to play with these new toys, and they should be able to. So it's kind of, I'm definitely not blaming the players.
No.
I guess.
And
it's just like,
I don't think
TW,
that's what.
like...
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think that's what Keith was saying either. I think he was just kind of saying, like, because, like, I remember in AOS 2 was, I think, for me, the darkest time for Age of Sigmar. I wasn't there, you know, I started when we got points, so I wasn't there for the dark times of playing with wound count or whatever. But I remember in AOS 2 when Slaanesh came out was shortly after OBR came out, and I had friends, you know, Veronica is a huge fan of Slaanesh. Tommy's a huge fan of OBR. Ryan's a huge fan of OBR. OBR got Ryan into AOS. He didn't know anything about the game. He just bought all the models and started playing with them. But Ryan is also a very, very talented wargamer. One of the most talented wargamers I've ever met. Bastard. And he also rolls well, the jerk. And so he started playing with them, and he's just like, this army is completely busted. And he was saying that, like, just brand new to the game, right? So it sucks, because it's like, you don't have fun when you have the busted army, and your opponent sure doesn't have fun. And I think it's something to keep in mind too. Like, I remember when Slaanesh came out in AOS 2.0, and they were completely busted. Like, some people argue they're the most busted army that's ever existed. I still think it's Daughters from 1.0. They were rocking like a 75% win rate for like a year or more. It was wild. But OBR, but those are like the top 3 like that's ever happened for me at least. And I remember Veronica just kind of saying like, this sucks. Like okay, yeah, like let's just say my army is busted. Like, I don't want to hear about it all the time. Like, I'm just playing the army because I love it. Like, I bought the models and everything before I knew anything, you know? So it's just not fair to like complain. So it's something like I try to keep in mind anyway when, you know, I'm engaging with an army that's busted. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's good to not overreact too. But we top out of 36 Karnoth hunters, 12 of each type. Jeez, you definitely can't fit that in an army. But I want to see you try. The first 3 or 4 years, how dare you like that thing? Yeah, that was Stormcast was a weird thing. Like, Stormcast was oh man. I mean, I wasn't part of that. I always just keep my opinions to myself. Like, even when I was watching, like, you know, like if I watched a battle report, for example, like on a channel that I was new to and I didn't like what was going on, I just kept it to myself. And it was the same thing with Stormcast. I'm not a fan of Stormcast. Like, I'm just not a fan. It's not, I don't hate on them. I'm just not a fan. Their inception feels very corporate to me. It feels very like boardroom decision. It doesn't feel creative or you know what I mean? It doesn't come from someone's soul. It seems to come from a pocketbook kind of mentality. So then during AOS 1, they just kept coming out with, it was all Stormcast, like all the way down. You know what I mean? And that's why we have like 100 Warscrolls or more now, maybe. And so every time it was like, ugh, Stormcast. And I didn't say that, but I was feeling it. And when other people said it, I was like, okay, thank God, like, I'm not the only one. And I wanted GW to know, like, hey, you know, don't just keep shoveling out more Stormcast all the time. Like, that's great for the people that really like it, but they're not as popular as you think. And like, them being in all the starter boxes makes them seem more popular than they are. It's inflating their sales and their understanding of what's popular in the game, in my opinion. But absolutely, yeah. Haters gonna hate. Play your war dollies. I mean, it's also about finding a good opponent. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you play against someone, yeah. Well, I agree, Keith. I know that's true. Now, you know, everyone has Stormcast almost, right? Like, most people have Stormcast that I know of. I almost collected them when they came out in AOS 2.0 with the kitty caters and all those awesome models. I was like, oh shoot, like. And I read the novel that came along with it, Soul Wars. I almost got into it, but yeah, I have lots of friends who play Stormcast, and they too are just like, I have too many models now, and I'm just not going to really buy anymore. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Yeah, they've always been those kinds of people, though, not just in Age of Sigmar. Obviously, it's probably more prevalent, I would say, in 40K and in fantasy in those days. The more meta chasing, you know what I mean? 3 coat minimum, don't care what it looks like. I'm just playing this to play whatever's busted in the now. Yeah, it's always been a thing, but you know, those people fall off, and they usually don't have the best looking models either. Oh man, your Starborn's getting hate too. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, well, that's the other thing, Keith. Yeah, they've got more than 70 War Scrolls, which is what Keith was saying, and you know, 40 of which have no purpose and do basically nothing. Yeah. You're hoping for a redesign? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I felt like that's what we got last time. Like what are they called? What are the guys with shields? Something with grand hammers.
Yeah, Annihilators.
Annihilators. Thank you. There's just too many names. I think they look cool, but we still got Retributors, which are basically the same thing as Annihilators with Grand Hammers. So yeah, I'm hoping for just like a culling, just like amalgamate Warscrolls and then maybe do a. I'm kind of hoping that maybe Ionis means that maybe they're not in the launch box. Like maybe we'll get something totally new. Like imagine Umbraneth versus Skaven, or let's even just take Skaven. I'm obviously super biased, right? Let's just say Umbraneth versus Chaos Dwarves. Holy crap. I know it's not happening.
That would sell amazingly well, but it's not happening.
And it would be so hype that, like, okay, it's Stormcast. Okay, what are the Stormcast facing this time? Like, no one cares about the Stormcast anymore. It's not what it feels like to me. But it'll help push the narrative forward. Like, that was what was cool about Forgotten Realms? Whatever it's called. I don't know. And I'm not hating on them, too. Like, and they're not going anywhere. So, like, sometimes I see those kinds of posts in the old world are like, yeah, Stormcast are going to get nixed. No, they are not. You're out of your mind if you think that. That's like that's the only thing that is actually like kind of a dumb opinion, is that they might actually get nixed. Like they're not as popular as they seem to be because they're in all the starter sets and whatnot, but they're still popular. They're still probably the most popular army in the game. Maybe not. I don't know. GW doesn't share that data with us. Not that the data would be reliable anyway because of all the starter set issues, but, you know, be all over big something in a heartbeat.
Hats.
Big hats. Oh, Chaos Dwarves.
Chaos Dwarves, yeah.
Heck yeah. Yeah, with their, like, curly beards. Yeah. Yeah, those are the only dwarves I've ever been kind of into. It was back in the old days. I don't know what it is about them either.
Dwarf's a dwarf. Nope.
What's that?
So the dwarf's the dwarf. Nope.
Yeah, I mean, like ultimately, I agree, and I think I just bought their the army book, to and read the lore and stuff like that. But
Gotcha.
yeah, but like some of those models are pretty cool, man. But the old like Forge World models, but yeah, a dwarf is a dwarf, and therefore the enemy of the Skaven. Umbraneth versus Famir, or what about Silent Ones? Umbraneth versus Silent Ones. Like, come on. I mean, it's going to be Skaven. I've been saying this for how long now? It's going to be Skaven versus probably Stormcast, but it's Skaven versus X. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a Chaos army.
Yes.
And Skaven would make the most sense, I think, for sure.
It's the only army that hasn't gotten like a proper redesign, except for Fire Slayers, which frankly... Oh, what if it's Fire Slayers? Skaven versus Fire Slayers, like, because okay,
mountains and stuff.
Yeah, right. Because like the what are they called? What was it in that book? It was in a book a while ago. There was like this huge hint about, was it Grungi or one of the dwarven gods returning? I can't remember what it was, but oh shoot. But yeah, like dwarves are traditionally the enemy of the Skaven too. In like the mountains in what's it called? Ulgu? Because I think we're going to Ulgu next, right?
I don't know. You know a lot more about the lore than I do.
I don't know that much.
Yeah, I wish I could contribute more to this conversation.
I wish I could.
I would be cool. Yeah, but I genuinely have no idea.
Dwarves are the enemy of everyone, as is tradition. It feels like the whole thing from South Park with the Canadians doing their thing. I wish I could repeat what Bahamut said, but that would be awesome. I mean, I'd be so into that because the only downside would be like if it were Stormcast or Umbraneth or LRL or any one of a dozen other things. I know so many people that collect those armies. It's just like, okay, we're splitting that box. Okay, we'll split one box, and I'll split another box with you, and another box with you. You know what I mean? But Fire Slayers, I'm like, Alex, help me. Although,
I mean, if they get like a genuine like rework for their battle line and stuff, I could see them. Because what was the
what did we look at that was like really? Was it a Warcry warband where
Yes.
the dwarves in it were just like
Yes.
chef's kiss?
Yes.
Like, it was actually
Yes.
like, in my opinion, the best version of Fire Slayers they could have made.
Legitimately awesome models. Yeah.
So if there was like a refresh that was that, then for sure I think a lot more people would be interested in getting Fire Slayers.
Yeah, and like, what do you call it? I just want to make sure it wasn't you who messaged me real quick. Just kidding. Sometimes, you know, yeah. Oh man. But if it was like if it was like and they came out with a Warcry warband, that might be it. Like I said, Umbraneth versus Skaven way before anything, right? But Fire Slayers would be really hype. Oh, no worries. Awesome. Oh shoot. Okay. Well, I am feeling like Bahamut right now, and I'll leave it at that. So yes. Yeah. Okay. So play salamanders. Yes. Oh, I see. Like, you mean like the magma? What do they call magma droths? Yes, magma droths, right? Yeah. Man, like, what if they had like battle line magma, like mini, like salamandery, you know, fire lizards? Oh, and like also bring in other dwarves, right? Like do a combined dwarf book, because like I'm not a big dwarf guy, but I love Gotrek, right? Those books are awesome. If anyone's thinking about getting into the lore at all, 100% go with Gotrek. That's what I said. I made a video about it, and I stand behind it. Yeah, Magmadroth Cavalry, absolutely. The only thing I want more, well, I mean, there are lots of things I want more than that, but that would be like the only thing I could legitimately say that I think is cooler than that is Crab Cavalry for Idna Deepkin. Like, why isn't it already a thing? We saw what happened with Doomfall.
Sideways into battle.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah, like the Howdah is facing the side of it or whatever, and they're like oval bases, you know? Yeah, that's what I want, man. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Magmadroth Cavalry is legitimately amazing, though. Yeah, and like make it weird, you know, like big weird flat tails or something with like, you know, like almost like a what do you call it? Like the pendulum. You know that pendulum? What's the thing? The pendulum that comes down and kills people?
The Aethervoid pendulum?
You know, like, you know those old torture devices where the blade swings down and it gets lower and lower? And then it like...
Sorry, something went...
Sword of Damocles. Sword of Damocles. That's what
it's
yeah.
I was not going to guess that.
I was thinking like its tail is like a big sword of Damocles that spins around. Spider Riders, well, they are a thing, kind of. It deserves more weird oddities. I absolutely agree with that. Yep.
I need to step away for a second. I think something like fell over outside or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
One sec.
Take care of it. No worries. No worries. I got the chat to kind of keep me company here. Spider Riders are awesome. Dwarden Cavalry on dire wombats with barding. What the crap? Do you remember that charge at the end of can't come up with it. It is the Hobbit movies, the last one. It's got Billy Connolly, and they're all the dwarves are riding these weird like goats and stuff like that. Something like that, maybe. I hope not, Bahamut. You got some weird interior decorating going on if the Sword of Damocles is hanging over your head. Yeah, more weird stuff. Absolutely. Let's see. Oh, the Book of Grudges has your great-grandmother in it. She went up to my great-uncle. I got to be careful and read this ahead of time while I'm reading. On my mother's side, twice removed and stole his left shoe. Yeah, that was one of the fun things from the old world, like the Book of Grudges. It's like a meme that's still being used. It's still, you know, it keeps giving, right? Oh man. Beasts of Chaos, that's true. Yeah, I missed that. Beasts of Chaos has some old models, not as old as Skaven, but and also Skaven like so apparently from what I was reading is the Skaven were the most popular army in Total War. So, and apparently a lot of people come over from Total War and different things to get into Skaven. And I understand that about Seraphon too. So I think it just makes sense on so many levels. Like, but, you know, we'll see. Hope springs eternal. But yeah, I mean, if I'm placing money on it, it's definitely Stormcast versus Skaven. And if I'm saying what's in my true hardest desire, it's Skaven versus, I don't know, fill in the blank. It doesn't matter. As long as it's got Skaven. No, I'm just kidding.
But Stormcast.
No, I mean, like, I know a lot of Stormcast players, so like I legitimately hope it's not an army I want, because I just can't afford to buy that many start collecting armies and paint and do both, right? So hopefully it's not something I'm into. So I'm legitimately hoping for something, you know, Umbraneth I would make me worried though, because like dragon, demon, elves sounds awesome. Or excuse me, shadow, dragon, demon, elves, like come on. That sounds amazing. Like, I'm still just going to get Skaven, but I'm going to cry at night all the time. They absolutely... I think Beasts of Chaos will get one next edition, Keith, and Ludivicus, who mentioned it before. Doggy time. I think they'll get one like Seraphon, if I had to guess, because they're going to be in the old world too, right? That's your goblin dog. She seems very subdued now. Like she's not being evil at all. Like I don't.
Because I'm currently holding her.
Okay.
Yeah. As soon as I put her down, she'll get back to her goblin antics. Just like running around going like he. Yeah.
They're goblin antics that we know and love. Yeah. Oh man. That's true. That's true. Keith said like one of the fundamental laws of the universe is if Ionis doesn't make you want to buy a Stormcast Eternals army, then I believe you're pretty safe. And that's 100% true. It is the coolest Stormcast model I've ever seen. I love dragons. Who doesn't love dragons? If you don't love dragons, then get out. Get out of the store. Get out of my house. Stay in the chat though. You're still welcome here. But yeah, absolutely. My third eye. I don't know who. That was a great follow up. The Elder Scrolls Doggo. Oh man, yeah. Did you ever? Does that work? No. Okay, fair enough.
Wait, what does what work? Sorry.
Well, if you back up and then your camera will, what do you call it? He's phasing in, or she's phasing in and out of reality. I love that way more than I should. I should never love it that much. Yes, absolutely. Thanks for reminding me, Keith. Yeah, I should have probably mentioned it earlier when there were more people here, but hit the like button if you're liking all our silly antics. Hit the like button for Holly, the dog. My dog doesn't like to come downstairs into the basement. He's afraid of the stairs. But yes, hit it for my dog as well, because why not? You like dragons, but Stormcast is a small step above Elf, which still ain't good. Yeah, for me it's the other way around, but yeah, fair enough. Oh man. Yeah, it's interesting. Like some people don't like dwarves, some people don't like elves. You know, everyone seems to have, you know, the things that they like.
I don't like either.
Really?
I like dwarves less than I like elves.
That's true. I know that's true because you had a Stormcast or a Lumineth army at one point.
I like dabbled, but then I threw up a little bit in my mouth, so I had to sell it. So
that's what you tell
people. It was
people.
short-lived.
Yeah, that's true. It was. Yeah. Man. But it was like the most elfy elf thing too. It's LRL, which is
I don't know when I was I don't know what got into me, to be honest. I think, to be honest, what happened was I wanted to do my whole Bretonian thing.
Oh.
And I bought them. I was like, oh, they've got lots of flags and stuff. And then I started putting them together, and I'm like, I'm never gonna play this. I don't want to use these.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people. The other thing that's making me nervous actually about them is one of my friends who just plays 6th edition fantasy. He was telling me to read the Teclis Centurion book, and I was like, yeah, I want a good story. And apparently there's lizardmen in it, which is very rare in the second book at some point. And then so then I picked it up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna, when I finish what I'm currently reading, I've got it on my phone and my tablet, so I can just read it whenever I want. And then after I bought it, the bastard told me, he's like, yeah, I wasn't into high elves at all, and then I read these books, and now now they're my favorite army. And I'm like, no, why did you tell me that now? I never should have bought that book. It's like a monkey's paw. Bad things are gonna happen. Oh man. Glad that there is 26 different armies now, so people can find something they like. Stark contrast to the first edition. Absolutely. And they've gotten weird, and they've gotten wild, and they're just getting better at designing stuff. Like, AOS has truly got the coolest armies in all of miniature wargaming. Like, I don't think there's even a close second. And I mean including 40K. I mean strictly AOS. Yeah. Stupid things while intoxicated. Carson's was ordering an LRL bender. Yeah. Hey, that first army box was that the first like limited edition army box that they did?
I don't know if it was one of the first for sure, but I don't
Right.
remember if it was the first. But like, it came with like a limited edition battle tome. It had dice.
It had dice.
Yeah, and the dice were actually pretty cool.
They were they were cooler
did
than the ones that they got with the weird logs. Yeah.
Yeah, because they were like bright yellow but translucent.
Yep, they were.
So they were like light, like little cubes of light essentially, which were really cool.
Very cool. With white pips, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. 24 armies. Yeah, I mean, we all make mistakes. Carson, we forgive you for getting elves. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. This time.
Huh. So if I break for Umbreneth, then I won't be forgiven.
I mean, but then you'll be just going to the dark side, and we will welcome you. We'll just be like, come here, sit here.
Sit next to Papa.
Yeah. I was trying to do the Homer Simpson thing, but it didn't work at all. Yeah. Because the angle's wrong, and this doesn't make any sense. It just seems like I'm having a stroke. So another stroke. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think you should keep the dice. Did you keep the dice, Carson?
I don't remember. I don't remember selling them, but I don't know where they are.
Okay. Fair enough.
Ledificus. Ogre dice.
Ogre, yeah. Oh, yeah, the ones with the maw on them?
Yeah, they're okay. They're like gray, which is kind of meh, but...
You know what they're not as cool as? Mustache dice. Also, I have some new dice coming. I already got them in my hot little hand, but I'm waiting to reveal them for a special occasion. So, more on that soon. We forgive you, but we still smell the stink on you. Hopefully it's not as bad as the stink on my fish elves, because it's pungent. Yep.
Can confirm.
Yeah. Predators for one-page rules. Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome, Robin. I don't know about one-page rules. I've been asked to look into it many times, but I don't have the time. IDK, but I think in my hands they might be a little too filled with murder for playing against casual friends. Yeah, they're one of those things where they've always been a kind of a noob buster, Keith. But if you don't take the Smash King, and you kind of lean more into like Morphan or something like that, I think they'd be fine, you know, if you're not rocking like a bunch of sharks and eels and stuff like that. But then maybe that's not why you're playing them, so fair enough. That's what I've heard, Robin. Cannot confirm, though. Cannot confirm. Yeah. Well, anyway, it's been a pleasure as always, Carson. Thank you for joining me. Anything we need to tell the people? I can't remember.
One last thing I want to bring up, which
Please.
is that so one of the big grand tournaments is coming back in the spring. So grand tournaments in our area, Wet Coast, and
Yeah.
the organizer of it has graciously asked if I could be the Age of Sigmar TO for that event. So if you want to come to a tournament in Vancouver, it'll be Easter long weekend, but the Friday and the Saturday, and that's Wet Coast GT. If you just go to, I think it's just wetcoastgt.com, and all the info will be there. So check it out.
Awesome. I will. I'll try. Can you remind me and I'll tweet it?
Sure. Yeah. How about I'll let you know when. So the player pack has been like, we've got all the information. I just need to like write it out and like formalize it, and then once that's released, maybe I'll do that.
Absolutely. I would have prepared something and said it at the start, but I didn't think you were ready yet. So, but
no, it's all good. Yeah, tickets are already on sale and stuff.
Oh, are they? Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, yep. Come and join. Join us. Yeah, it'll be. It's all. Wet Coast has always been a really great tournament. Do you know? Do they know the venue?
Yep, it's going to be at the Vancouver Executive Hotel Vancouver Airport Executive Hotel. Combination of those four words and some
airport hotel resort. No.
Yeah, something like that. But if you look on BCP, then it's on there, and if you look on the website Wet Coast GT, it'll be on there as well. So it's going to be running right next to like a very large 40K tournament. I think he's got like, so he has 200 tickets available for his 40K tournament, and then we can have up to 78 for the Age of Sigmar tournament. But
that's pretty big.
So far I've just got 50 just because I need to secure like terrain and stuff like that and make sure that. Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Yeah. Well, we'll tweet it. We'll figure it out. It'll definitely be, I'll try and add it to the docket of things to put on the show, but yeah, sign up for that if you're interested. I'm sure it's going to be a great tournament. And yeah, and thanks to you guys for joining us. I appreciate you hanging out with us and making us laugh and keeping us entertained and interacting with you guys. It's really fun. And if you're watching this in the future, please feel free to like the video and comment and tell me what you thought. I read them all. Yeah, I typically respond to almost all of them. The only time I don't is sometimes when I don't understand. Like sometimes there's like today there was like a comment that was deleted on an old video, and then so I went to respond to it and I just didn't understand what was going on because they were responding to someone else. And so yeah, but anyway, yeah. And occasionally I also don't get a notification, so please don't be upset if I don't respond. Sometimes it happens, but I typically respond to all of them. So yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks to Carson as always for being my co-host, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.